Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. I am Delilah from the Holistic Enchilada, and in this video I am going to share 14 hacks for curly hair. Now a lot of these are based on the curly girl method, so if you are well versed on the curly girl method, then these may not necessarily be new tips for you, although you may learn something new from me. Most of these tips are things that will help your curls just look better overall, less frizz, more definition, softer, healthier, that kind of thing. So these 14 things are things that I do on a regular basis, and they help my curls to look their best. And like I said, I follow the curly girl method, so a lot of these are based on that. You don't have to follow the curly girl method, so if you want to just take a few things from there, then these hacks I'm going to share with you are some good ones to incorporate into your routine if you're not doing the curly girl method. So I'm going to get started and share my 14 hacks. First hack is don't use a brush outside of the shower. This is new, or this was new to me when I started the curly girl method, because I was just so trained to using a brush for detangling. There was no way I could detangle before with my fingers. That was, I remember when I first heard that you're supposed to detangle with your fingers in the curly girl method, and I was like, that's impossible, there's no way. I can do it now. But if you want the health of your curls to improve, then you really shouldn't be using a brush at all. If you're gonna use a brush, then use it in the shower with conditioner in your hair. But if you want no frizz, nice clumpy curls like this, don't brush your hair again. No brush outside of the shower. Now there are some people who do use something called a Denman brush to apply product in their hair and get it to clump like this. I think that's a technique for more wavy hair and not hair like mine. I tried it on my hair and it didn't work. It split up my clumps and it just didn't look that great. So I'm gonna stick with no brush on curly hair outside of the shower. Hack number 2 is to leave some of the conditioner in your hair, or use a leave-in conditioner. So with my hair, since it's so thin and low density, I don't have a lot of it, I don't leave in any of my conditioner. I use a separate leave-in conditioner and I only apply it like from here down. But for people who have a lot more hair that's thicker, drier, curlier, they don't rinse out all their conditioner. They rinse out most of it, and especially like near the scalp area, rinse that part out, but they leave it in the ends. And that extra hydration just really gives you nice, soft, clumpy, shiny curls, because it's providing the moisture that curly hair needs. Curly hair tends to be drier than other hair types, and we tend to go longer in between washes, so leaving conditioner in your hair is just a great way to combat frizz and keep that softness and shine. Hack number 3 is to apply your styling products to soaking wet hair. I've talked about this in other videos before. I was very hesitant to trying out styling on soaking wet hair. I just thought, that's ridiculous. You're putting it in, you're soaking wet hair and then you're scrunching it and it's just all dripping out. Like, there's no way that my hair is absorbing any of that product. But I was wrong. As soon as I started doing that is when I started getting these clumps like this. I could not get these kinds of clumpy ringlets before. And it was because I was putting my styling products after towel drying my hair, and it was only damp instead of soaking wet. So now this doesn't always work for everyone, but it seems to be fairly universal. Most people with curly hair have success by applying their styling products to soaking wet hair. That's why it's part of the curly girl method. So if you have wavy hair, then maybe experiment with the damp versus wet styling. For me, the wet styling made a huge difference, especially with clumping, which helps with frizz. And if you do try this method of applying your product to soaking wet hair, you're probably going to have to use more product than you did when you were applying it to damp hair. Since some of it is going to drip out, you might need a little bit more product. Maybe. Not always the case, but sometimes. So experiment, try both ways, see how your hair comes out. If it looks bad, just wash it and start over. It's really not a big deal. Fourth hack is do not use a regular towel on your hair. So the towel that you're using on your body should not touch your hair. Use an old t-shirt. That is the best thing, cheapest thing you can use. Just grab an old t-shirt that you don't use anymore and you're gonna blot your hair dry. You don't want to disrupt the curl pattern. You don't want to remove too much moisture either. That's what happens with a regular towel, and you end up getting more frizz and breaking up your curl clumps. You shouldn't be twisting your hair up. You shouldn't be rubbing your hair dry. You should just be blotting it, and you could pile it on top of your head and do a regular plop, which is the next tip. Try plopping. I tried plopping and it really didn't work well for me. I tried it for a long time. I'd plop for 5 minutes, for 10 minutes, for 20 minutes. It just was giving me really flat roots, really flat area on top, and too much moisture, so I would have to wash my hair a lot sooner. I think some of the product was just sitting on top here. It would drip out of like the ends and it would just sit on top. So it's gonna be all up. Let's see if I can do this. So your hair will be, you're doing this upside down, so you're gonna squish it kind of like this, and then you're gonna wrap the hair towel in a way that holds your hair like this, and that is plopping. And a lot of people with curly hair plop when they wash their hair. That's how they dry their hair, and it works really well for them. Because my hair is a little wavy and really thin and low density, the plopping just ruins my curls. So instead I do micro plopping, which is number 6. And micro plopping is when you're essentially doing the same thing but in small sections for just a couple of seconds. So you're getting one individual section and you're pushing it up against your scalp like that for a couple of seconds, and then you're getting another little section and you're pushing it up like that, and you're just going to repeat that process all over until it's not dripping anymore. And this is how I dry my hair, and it only takes like a minute to do it. And this way I'm not ruining my curls. I'm really encouraging the ringlets to form, taking out some of the weight of the water in my hair, since my hair gets really weighed down by the water. And I just like the way my hair looks better when I micro plop, so that's what I like to do. Number 7, don't touch your hair while it is drying. Oh, I did this so much when I was younger before I found the curly girl method. I would get out of the shower, I'd dry my hair, I'd put some gel in my hair, and then I would fuss with my hair for the next couple of hours, you know, retwirling things, moving my part, shifting things around. I would pick it up. All that did was cause frizz. It caused for the clumps to fall apart because they're so delicate when they're wet. If I'm touching my hair when it's wet, these clumps will not stay, okay? See this clump here? Like, it'll start to separate and fall apart, and then when it dries, it just looks frizzier because it doesn't, you know, it doesn't have those nice little ringlets. So don't touch your hair while it is drying. Wait until it is 100% dry, whether it's air drying or you're using a diffuser. Wait until it's dry, until you start fussing with it, shifting the parts, and definitely don't get rid of that crunchy hardness from the gel until it is completely dry. That is tip number 8. Let your hair dry in that crunchy cast that we all hate, that hard, wet look of curly hair. You want your hair to dry that way. Once it is completely dry, then you're gonna just do this. You're gonna put it in your hand and you're gonna squish like that over and over, and that softens up, it breaks up that hard cast, and you get this. So when my hair dries, I washed my hair yesterday and I only use gel. That's the only styling product I use. So I use the Raw Curls gel, which dries pretty hard hold, and it doesn't even look this full when it's a hard hold. I'll put a picture up here for you to see. So it looks wet and crunchy, you know, the look that we don't want. I wait a couple of hours, make sure it's set, it's completely dry, and then I just do that. And then I shake it out a little bit here, and I separate the clumps and all that, and that's how I get it to look like this. So we do want that hard cast. It does serve a purpose. You don't want to leave the house like that. Well, unless, you know, you're really trying to preserve your hairstyle and the weather is not cooperating, then yeah, I have left the house with a cast in my hair, but that's not really the look you're going for. You want to soften that up by scrunching it out, and that's called Scrunch Out the Crunch, SOTC. You'll see that in a lot of curly girl like blogs and forums and on Facebook and stuff. That's basically what that means. Number 9, and this was a game changer for me, was to use a diffuser to dry your curls if you want bouncy, soft curls and more volume. I desperately need that. I cannot air dry, or my hair is literally stuck to my scalp like this. Like, I have no hair if I air dry. It's still curly, but it's like, it's just no volume whatsoever. So I'm gonna put up a video for you to see how I diffuse. But basically, after you put all those products in your hair, you're gonna put the hair into the diffuser, and you're just gonna push up towards the scalp and hold it there for like 30 seconds or so, and repeat it all over until your hair is dry, or until you're tired and you're like, that's it, I've had enough. For me, it takes about 4 to 5 minutes for my hair to dry because I don't have a lot of hair. Some people need to diffuse for like an hour. I could never do that. I would probably just diffuse my roots and do a little bit of the ends and then call it a day, and however my hair dried is how it dried, because there's no way that I could stay for an hour just drying my hair. That sounds crazy. Crazy to me. Another tip for volume is to clip your roots while your hair is drying. So they sell these little clips that you basically put in, like let's say like one here and one here, like that. And then you leave the clips in and your hair is held up like this, and it helps your hair dry like with more volume, you know, farther away from the scalp area. I can't figure out how to do this on my own. They always do it when I go and get my curly haircuts, and it looks amazing, it looks great, but as much as I try to replicate exactly the same process that they're doing, I cannot do it. And I always end up with these weird kinky things, and it looks terrible. So I got rid of those clips that I had because they were not working for me, but some people do use them successfully. So if you're looking for root volume, that is definitely a hack that you can give a try and see if it works for you. Okay, this next one is something that has been so great for me. Deep conditioning before washing my hair. And I don't know how common this is. I always washed my hair, shampoo, and then put deep conditioner in for like 20 minutes or whatever. And then I rinsed it out and I styled. And when I started the curly girl method, I did the same thing. But I was noticing that my hair would feel really light and feathery after I deep conditioned, and it wouldn't hold the curl as well. So I was like, okay, my hair is getting soft and it's, you know, it feels moisturized, but it doesn't look good, you know? So I stopped deep conditioning. And I had a haircut, and the hairdresser told me, listen, you need to deep condition on a regular basis. Your hair is really dry. I decided, okay, I have to figure something out. And I decided, let me try doing it before I shampoo. Maybe, I don't know what I was thinking, but I did it. I got into the shower, soaked my hair in water, and then I applied my deep conditioner for about 10 minutes while I finished up my shower, rinsed it out, and then I followed with shampoo, my regular conditioner, my leave-in conditioner, and my styling gel. My normal wash day routine after doing a deep conditioner. And it's exactly the amount of moisture that I needed. Since my hair is so thin and light, it was just perfect. So if you need to deep condition but you feel like your hair is too moisturized, maybe you're prone to over moisturization, which is what I am, then try deep conditioning on dirty hair before you shampoo and see if that works for you. I find that my hair comes out soft, but it's not that mushy soft where it's just too much moisture. The next hack is to pineapple your hair at night or use a buff. So you'll see pineappling, and a lot of people don't know what that means, and I've talked about it before. So pineappling is when you pile your hair up to like the very top of your head and you sleep like that to protect your hair. So usually you use something like this or even just a scarf, and I will show you. So you're really putting your hair all the way forward, and you can do it loose or tight, basically like that, and then lay down on your pillow and your hair is basically going to be right above you, right? So that's a pineapple. Now, when I do this, I wake up with this, everything that's up, pulled up here gets straightened out, so it pulls the curl out of my hair, and then I get this kink, like this indentation in my hair exactly where the hair tie was. It doesn't matter how loose I do it. I've tried it with clips, I've tried it with different things. It doesn't work. So what works for me is using a hair buff. And essentially, it is the same thing, but because it's not like one thing tied around in a specific spot, it doesn't leave any indentations and it doesn't damage my curls. This is a hair buff, and they sell these on Amazon in packs of multiple. And I think it's technically one of these things that you wear around your neck when it's cold outside, but it's now a hair buff in the curly world. And this is how I sleep. So I basically put it on, let me take my earrings off, and then I pull it through. You may have seen me do this in another video. And then I just make sure that it's all completely pulled through. I don't have any spots where it's just like bunched up. And whoops, I don't want it to go. Okay, so this is not the way to do it, but basically you don't want to pull it too far. You want it to cover your ears because as you sleep, it goes sliding up. And so if you put it on like this, you're gonna wake up with it off. And basically it's protecting your hair at night, so this part is not really getting ruined, and this really nothing happens here. I prefer to leave it like this, but some people like to stuff it all in and close it up. But if I stuff it all in, again, that ruins my curls. So I sleep with my hair like this, and it works really well for me. I can go several days in between washing my hair because this doesn't ruin it. The only parts is that maybe this, because I have a lot of these little baby hairs here, this part can get a little frizzy, but I just add a little bit of water if I care to. Usually I don't, and that works for me. So I sleep with a hair buff. It's my favorite way. Some people do a pineapple, that works for them. You can try both and see what works better for you. They're both really great ways for protecting your hair from tangling and frizzing at night. Another hack is to sleep on a silk or satin pillowcase. And if you're vegan, you can find satin. But if you're not, you can find these silk pillowcases from, the brand is MYK Silk. And they have silk on one side only, so they're much more affordable than regular silk pillowcases. I think they're $17 to $20, the range that I've seen them. I bought mine on Amazon. You can get it from Amazon or directly from them. I believe they have a coupon code on their website. If you sign up for their mailing list, you can get it even cheaper. But essentially, a silk or satin pillowcase is just protection so that your hair doesn't pull. It's gliding on the material instead of being pulled on it. And this is going to reduce frizz and tangling. And it also absorbs less moisture, and it's also good for your skin, less wrinkles. So it's great all around. Good tip for your hair. And number 14, the last one, is you can refresh your style. Let's say you had a really good wash day, your hair looks great. You go to sleep the next day and okay, maybe it doesn't look so great anymore. You can just use a mixture of water and conditioner to revive your hair. That's going to activate the product that was in it before, and the conditioner provides the moisture loss that curly hair tends to have as the days go on between washing. So typically I don't do anything like this. I washed my hair yesterday, so this is the second day. I didn't do anything to it this morning. Since I sleep with a hair buff, it really maintains my hairstyle. But before I did that, I used to have to refresh my hair, and I'd basically wet my hands and put like a drop of conditioner and emulsify it, and then I would just go through and smooth it and finger coil, just like recoil some of the curls that need a little bit of help, and then I would just let it dry. Sometimes I would diffuse it if I want a little bit more volume, but basically that's all you need, a little bit of water and conditioner, and that will reduce frizz because you're going to provide that moisture, like I said, that your hair needs, and you're going to reactivate the styling product that was in it, so you don't really need to add any more styling product. So those are my 14 hacks for curly hair. Hopefully you learned something new in this video. If you are new to the Curly Girl method, I have a beginner's guide that you can download. It is 10 pages, and it will teach you exactly how to follow the Curly Girl method, what steps are involved, how to wash, how to condition, how to style, how to make your hair last. It talks about what ingredients you're supposed to avoid, and it lists them out specifically. It also explains common Curly Girl terminology, so maybe some abbreviations or things that you're not really sure what they mean. And it comes with links to my tutorials if you're a more visual learner. So if you are looking to improve your curls, I strongly suggest you start the Curly Girl method. This is what revived my curls, what brought them back to life, because I didn't even have curls back then. It was just stringy waves and frizz. So I will link the beginner's guide below. I also have a blog post with all 14 of these hacks written out. That blog post is linked below as well. If you enjoyed that video and you would like more content on clean beauty and curly hair, then please subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in the next video.